Oh, are we live? There we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hyper Japan Online. This is our first panel discussion of Hyper Japan Online, and I'm very proud to present a panel all about Japanese music. We've collected some experts and some passionate Japanese music lovers from all different genres, and we're going to talk today about all sorts of topics. Nice to see you here. If you have any questions or you want to send any love, please put it in the chat below. If you want to know more about Hyper Japan, please visit hyperjapan.co.uk/online or see the videos on our Hyper Japan YouTube channel, where we have loads of great Japanese concerts and other stuff to enjoy. So without further ado, I am going to call up the panel.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Today on the panel, we're very lucky to have 4 guests from all across UK and Europe. We want to talk about Japanese music as seen from overseas. I'd like to start by introducing Francisca from Avo magazine.
Yes, hi.
Can you tell us a
I'm
little bit
Francisca.
about yourself?
Yes, of course. I'm Francisca. I run AVO magazine or Evo magazine, doesn't matter, all is fine. And I started with a forum in 2003, and it gradually became a webzine, an online magazine. And on the online magazine, I write about Japanese music. I introduce mostly indie musicians from Japan. I also write reviews, reports, and from time to time, before the whole thing what's currently going on, I was organizing also concerts. Yeah, that's me. Hi.
Hi. So next I'd like to talk to Paul from J-Pop Go. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Paul. I run J-Pop Go, which is a website dedicated to Japanese music, which features news, reviews, and interviews with a distinctly UK perspective.
Fantastic. Kelly-Mae.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm 1/3 of Beyond Senpai, which is a webzine focusing on Japanese culture. Currently, we have more of a focus on Japanese music, but we are looking to expand to beyond that, like, fashion and more of a culture, just everything. And we bring in guests to review. We're still quite new. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary next week. So yeah, I've been in the Japanese music scene for a while anyway, as a fan and a creator prior to being part of Beyond Senpai. But yeah, today I'm representing them, and come check out our website if you can.
That's fantastic. And Remco from JME.
Oh, hello, I'm Remco. I run the Japanese Music Experience group on Facebook. Started the group 5 years ago after seeing Bandmate at London Comic Con, and been running the group with friends ever since. And we've been one of the most successful Japanese music communities on Facebook, and yeah, pretty proud of that. So come check us out. Also on Discord nowadays, so come find us there.
So we'll give everybody a chance to plug your links and to make sure that people visit your sites and online communities and find your podcast at the end of the show. But for now, I would really like to get into it with a very important question, which is, why Japanese music?
It's a loaded question.
But I think it's an important one. Also, anyone watching, if you have your answer to the question, feel free to put it in the chat as well.
I think for me, it's something with J-pop and idol pop. There's something very alluring about that sort of euphoric, uplifting music that these bands and acts create, and it's something very sort of unique to Japan. And ever since I've sort of discovered J-pop, there's something about it which just kind of which just grabs me, and it's just much more kind of fun, much more sort of, I guess, simple in some ways compared to a lot of Western music. So it does have this kind of very sort of like primary colour appeal, which I've always kind of gone for. So it's just kind of turned a bit of a passion for me.
For me, it's more like I mean, I agree with Paul a lot on this. It's, you know, it's that cheerfulness, because I'm definitely more engaged in the like Japanese pop idol scene and chica idols and everything. It's also a lot to do with escapism as well. Like when I finish a day at work, I just want to chill out, relax. And one of my favorite things to do is just sit down and listen to music, or to research the idols I like, and to just fall into that world and discover new groups and new music to enjoy. And I mean, I got into this when I was about 13, 14, 15-ish, when I was really into the anime manga scene, but I didn't really fully dive into Japanese music as a whole until I was about 17. And that's when I became really invested in it as a fan. So yeah, it's the escapism, the cheerfulness, the happiness it brings me.
I know that Remco, there's a very particular group that really got you into Japanese music.
Yeah. Well, the first part, of course, like, I mean, the restart, so to say, was actually with Baby Metal in 2014. And the funny part of that was, it was a friend of mine who posted a link to, I believe it was their IDZ video, and in an attempt to sort of ridicule how Japanese girls did metal, sort of like sort of mockery of the thing, which was, especially in the beginning, very popular. I clicked on the link, and the combination of metal, the extreme guitars, and the really cute presentation of it really got to me. It's just like, there was nothing, I heard nothing before ever. I mean, I've been a metal fan for well over 20 years, but there was just nothing comparable, and it was like, it struck me as odd. It lingered a few weeks in the back of my head when I got the video of Gimme Chocolate, and honestly, I just fell off my chair laughing. The way they presented that was just, it got to me. And the first, I think, year and a half, I got really stuck in baby metal, in going to concerts. And the next group that really broke through in the West was Band-Maid. And when they started to play at Comic-Con in London, that honestly pushed me over the edge. That honestly got me into like looking deeper into it and finding out other groups, and just the visual presentation of it all, of Japanese music compared to music here in the West. That's just what pulled me in completely.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a good place to talk about sort of what is it about Japanese music that's so unique. So Paul mentioned that it's always positive, really bright and uplifting, and then Remco, you mentioned that it's kind of a unique combination of that uplifting with that, you know, heavy metal sound. I know, Francisca, you like the music that's not that uplifting.
Yes, that's correct.
What is that's unique about Japanese music for you?
For me, well, when I started listening to music, it was the anime intro ending songs. But I was searching for the rock music, and then Maximum the Hormone came into sight, and Headphones President. And I was like, whoa, I want to learn more about rock in Japan. And for me, the most unique, it's more like I like noise. I like chaos. For me, that's more, I can become happy when I listen to chaos and noise and everything. And that's what I can find a lot in Japanese music. And I don't need logical things, because the escapism, what Kelly-Mae was talking about, that's also what I have, but I want to have it in noise, in loud music, and that's for me. I find that more easier in Japanese music with the strange things that you think. How can they think about that to add that as well? And yeah, that's why I'm still here writing about music.
So it's, I think a couple of
I
people
think a
have-
big
yeah.
part of the I think a big part of the escapism is also because if it's like in a language you understand, for example, your native language, then there isn't really that much of an escapism to it. I mean,
True.
not understanding the language fully really adds to the level of escapism. So I think that is important aspect and an important part of the appeal as well.
To be honest, I 100% agree because one of the first things that did draw me to Japanese music is the language barrier. I understood no Japanese whatsoever when I started getting into the music like completely, because I was getting sick of the music at the time. Like groups like One Direction were getting popular then, and I had just lost Busted to disbandment, and I was heartbroken, and I didn't like the lyrics that One Direction had. I thought they were absolute bollocks, basically. I thought they were horrible. I didn't want that. I wanted music that I could understand. I mean, yeah, most of the music that I listened to had essentially the same lyrics, just in a completely different language, but I could understand it, so what was I to know? and that's what I liked about it. It was that escapism aspect as well, just not understanding it, so I could escape into this world of colourful, catchy music that I didn't know anything about.
Yeah,
You
for
can
me,
really
it was
let your
chaos.
imagination run loose on the lyrics, actually, in a way.
Exactly. Like, oh, I hear one random English word in here, popcorn or something. So, okay, it's a song about popcorn today. Cool. But,
yeah. I know that song. All right, so I believe that it's High Standard, Popcorn Love. Is that the track that you're talking about? All right,
no,
cool.
I mean, like, well, probably, yeah. Like, I mean, there's lots of Japanese songs which use the song popcorn. Like, you've got Heavy Rotation, which also includes the word popcorn in it, just random, well, not randomly thrown in. There's a reason for the lyrics to be there, obviously, no matter what song it is. It's just that if, like, younger me, when I listened to a song, if I just picked up on one random word, I could probably just like create the rest of the lyrics in my head that I didn't understand. But now, more than anything, even though I still don't understand Japanese, I'm trying to learn and everything, but I look at the lyrics and I'll look at the translations of them just to try and glean what the song is about, so that I can understand it a little bit more and, you know, see what the perspective of the lyrics are from the singer's or the lyricist's point of view.
I think that's true. Lots of kind of Japanese acts where I think sometimes even the topics they sort of sing about are just very odd topics compared to sort of, you know, Western acts. I mean, you have like sort of, you know, David Megumi who'll sing a song about, well, here's a song about sort of summer. Or you have sort of bands like Perfume, who just like to sing about sort of living in sort of modern electro world. And you have sort of Carrie Pamu Pamu, and nobody's got any idea about what she's singing about.
No clue. Oh,
So it's definitely the thrill of kind of experiencing something different, or maybe getting lost in something that's not familiar.
Yeah.
So in the chaos, or in the different language patterns, and in the different styles of music too. So I'm sure we've all been listening to Japanese music for a while. Paul, what would you say are some trends that you've seen come and go in Japanese music?
That's kind of a difficult one, because I think the perspective from the UK is very, very different, because you have to remember that going back about 10, 15 sort of years, we were sort of like starved of sort of like Japanese bands coming to the UK. So when sort of you had this gradual kind of build up of bands finally coming to the UK, and really that was kind of heralded by the likes of Shonen Knife, who of course were performing here sort of during the 1990s, and up to that sort of point, but that's pretty much what you got. lots of kind of rock acts. So it wasn't really until sort of the early sort of noughties that you get sort of Japanese bands coming here. So our kind of reception to Japanese bands, I think, is sort of slightly sort of different. So we're a little bit disconnected, I think, from the whole kind of the trends are happening in Japan. At the same time, I think we sort of lucked in that when sort of idol pop started to become sort of quite big in Japan, there was at that sort of point that things were opening up a little bit more in the UK and in Europe. So we were getting exposed to a lot of these kind of bands and groups often for the first time. So we were sort of a little bit in sync with that. But at the same time, it's kind of frustrating that in Japan you can go to these kind of concerts like every week, whereas in sort of most in Europe and the UK, we don't get that. So we have to go and make as most as we can from it. I think it's only sort of events like Hyper Japan that have actually sort of made that, opened the doors a little bit. So, I think some of the first idol groups that we were lucky enough to see were at sort of Hyper Japan, because up to that point, you wouldn't be able to see them live.
Well, thank you very much. Always like a Hyper Japan name check. Appreciate that. But yeah, with the sort of rise of the internet and YouTube especially, we're able to access a lot more Japanese music than we were ever able to before. Francisca, have things changed since you first started listening to Japanese music?
It's easier accessible, like you said. Also, I remember from years and years back, I think I just started AVO Forum, and we were with other members sharing music, and then the video clips were shortened or highly illegally uploaded because it was nowhere to be found, because the bands decided to sell it with the single. And one lucky fan who could get the single or went to Japan and saw the band live, uploaded it, and we were like, yay! But highly illegal, of course. What was the question?
So I guess you went from a space where you couldn't access a lot of this Japanese music to now it seems like everywhere you turn you can access Japanese music. Has that? How do you think that the music has changed since you first started listening to those shared files and stuff?
I have to say it's quite overwhelming right now for me, because I mostly focus on new releases on music videos because I write weekly an article about that. But for me, it's like they are everywhere, and then I find a new band, I'm like, yay! But what people forget is Japan is one of the biggest music industry in the world, and there are so many bands everywhere. It's a big country, so it's not that surprising. So bands are popping up everywhere, and I have to swim through everything to find the quality bands, because not everything is good. So I'm finding the gems. It's a haystack, and I'm like crawling through it to find the gems. But it's for me, it's also easier to check out a Spotify or other streaming services and check out like, do I like this band? But I still buy CDs, so I ordered them, and I have quite some here, also vinyl. But I still enjoy buying CDs and everything. And I noticed that more and more people are like, CDs? No way! I listen to Spotify, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but CDs. I support the musicians. So yeah, that's. I forget what the question is about. I like to talk.
So how do you find out about new music, Kelly?
Well, I like to follow on Twitter a lot. I mean, when I wasn't on Twitter, it was very different. I would basically be on Facebook talking to friends, or I would be on YouTube looking at different playlists of what music was coming out or what had already been out. I don't really care if it's older or newer. If I like it, I like it. It doesn't matter. I use Spotify a lot more now as well to help me, but like YouTube was one of the main ones, especially for music videos, and that would just tell me what single it came from, if it came from a single whatsoever. And also it would include like download links and everything. And then once I found out about a group like I really liked, I would be like, you know, just going through everything. But I also used to follow a lot of online websites way back when the blogging boom was like really big, and the website boom as well, like Tokyo High, which is still around, Selective Hearing. There was another one, Idle Minded. It used to be something else though, but it became Idle Minded eventually down the line. And I'd find out through that and through other blogs what was coming out and what music. And at that time I was mostly into Hello Project. My sister also helped a lot with helping me find groups like Bumpy and at one point SNSD. I know they're Korean, but like I know they also had a Japanese career as well a little bit. But yeah, I mostly through the grapevine, but also through a lot of websites that did updates and everything, and they helped me to kind of find different groups like Junjo no Ophelia and Bumpy, Hokago Princess, those other groups. And then when I would help write for other places, we would sometimes be able to get like some press stuff for places, and that's how I'd find out about other groups, whatnot. Like Necronom Idol, I found out about them through a website, and they got me to review an album of theirs, and I fell in love with Necronom Idol after that. So yeah, just various different ways. I mean, not everyone has these various means of finding out about music sometimes, such as the press one especially, but and I know websites, people don't really go on and use websites anymore. They just use Twitter at this point, I think, and Spotify, and YouTube playlists again.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I mostly use a combination of Spotify and Twitter. I scour the different Facebook group I'm a member of, and I just like read the articles that, for example, Francisca writes. The weekly MV feature is really good, by the way. And yeah, that's mostly how I just try to find out new artists, mostly on Twitter. So
yeah, there's the fantastic Facebook group called JME that I go on that also does like all these different artists that everyone can post about. Even I put stuff up there sometimes, but fantastic group.
What's been really exciting, especially since the pandemic where people were shut in the house, is Discord. So, Remco, I know your Discord is buzzing. Everybody's on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I the thing was, I've been a bit like disappointed with Facebook and how it operates these days, and so I wanted to try something new. And I had another Facebook group, at least another group on another platform, and that just didn't work out. And because I wanted to interject a little bit of more culture in it, and I figured that when you have a really large group with like 2,500 plus members, it can sometimes be a bit tricky to have everyone post their subjects. And so I wanted to have a platform where I could divide that. And again, going to take Evo Magazine as an example. Francisca started a Discord quite some time ago. And that actually wasn't a perfect example, because you can divide it into like music, culture, and then subdivide it again into like idol music, pop music. And it just works perfectly, and people just talk debate. So quite happy that Discord is working out so well.
So there's a JME Disco, there's an AVO Discord as well.
Yes.
And perhaps at some point, J-Pop Go?
Yeah, I'm well behind on the Discord trend, unfortunately. So I think I need to sort of get on top of that.
Come. You're welcome.
But that is it's a great way to find out about new Japanese music. How do you first hear about bands, Paul? Is it through other people, or do you have certain sites that you visit?
It's a combination. I get lots of kind of press releases from record labels and PR outlets. So I get sort of hammered on a weekly basis with people trying to sort of like plug their bands. So I have to kind of go through all that. Outside of that, as the other guys are sort of saying, I sort of keep an eye online, especially on Twitter. There's usually kind of word of mouth thing about sort of new sort of groups emerging. But again, you have to kind of filter through all this to find the stuff that you really like. It's sort of quite sort of time consuming. But it's nice when you sort of do all that and you find kind of groups that or acts that you really like.
Yeah. So for anyone who has a Discord link, please put it in the chat, and everyone watching the video can go and check it out after the panel is finished. Only after. You must watch to the end.
Only after, okay.
Stay with us.
So one more thing is, everybody watching, please get your questions ready for Q&A session a little bit later. One thing that we've all talked about here is accessing Japanese music from the UK or from Europe. Francisca mentioned buying CDs. What are some other good ways that you can support acts that you love, or other ways that you can show these acts that they're popular in Europe and that they definitely should come on tour?
I mean, one of the ways for one of the groups that I follow, or the company, agency, whatever they will be called, they're called iGet, and they have a few different groups, and they actually do check their iTunes charts very regularly, and they will post what song has been or what single has been popular in a certain country. If it's been popular, like one group especially is quite popular in Finland, and they show this on their Twitter. Usually they'll update like blah 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 was popular in Finland. It's number one in Finland on iTunes, on the iTunes chart for J-pop, and it's incredible. They showcase it that way, and that's one way you can support them, through iTunes. Spotify may not be the best one, obviously, because you're not really buying the music directly through Spotify. But yeah, definitely buying digital music, because most groups are starting to understand that a digital market is a great way to show that they are there and that they are present, and that you can get them through those means. Not all groups, there's some that are still kind of like on the fence about it, which I get. Other ways, following on Twitter. Idols love it when you follow them on Twitter and interact with them, comment on their stuff, like retweet their tweets, because it gets them out there a little bit more. It boosts their posts up and it shows other people who they are and everything. The amount of people on my Twitter who follow various groups and they retweet a certain idol's picture or something, and I'm just like, she's so cute, who is she? Or they retweet a music video from them and I'm just like, what song is this? I go look for it on YouTube, and then I fall in love, sharing their music, writing about it, even if you just make like a post on Facebook or Twitter or something, just write a little bit about them, say your thoughts on a song or something. And that's one way to not only share your passion, but also to share the group and who they are and what they do. And it gets them out there a little bit more as well, and it supports them as well. It gets new people to support them, which is what they want.
Yeah, exactly. And also, well, I also see people making YouTube playlists, but also on Spotify, and share it around. It also works because sometimes I click on it and I am like, this is great. So keep on doing that. Also, there are people who are emailing me like, have you seen this video of this musician, and can you write about it, or maybe this and this, or how can I help this musician? That's what I sometimes receive. A while back I got a message from someone about the band Bubble Bee, and they were #1 in the iTunes charts in the Netherlands, and they were so excited. Here I am. I was also excited. But,
didn't they tweet in the Netherlands about that, in Dutch about that?
Yes, they did. And they were so glad to see that I wrote about it. I think I'm now okay. And
Yeah, you are.
that way it also works because I have written about a musician and they are sharing it, and then other people are like, hey, this is a nice band, and they also listen to it. So it's works that way as well. So yeah, those are very good advices by Kelly-Mae. Yeah.
What about you, Paul?
Another great way of supporting the artist is actually by checking out if they actually stream their shows or both via Zyko, which is a wonderful platform, by the way, and otherwise Quidcast. They usually stream for free, but you can tip them. So it's like Quidcast and Zyko are perfect platforms. They've really embraced streaming for a large part, and so from my perspective, I really hope they keep it. We've had some amazing streams over the last few months. It's just, and contrary to, you always hear jokes, it's like Japan is like out behind by still using the fax machine. But I have hardly seen any Western bands embrace streaming the way Japanese bands have. And I mean, sure, we have seen some events like in Europe and being streamed, but not on the scale that they have done so in Japan since the start of the pandemic. So I really hope they're going to keep that available to us.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them have also started doing like live streams as well, like as in official concert live streams, which for a lot of us really helped us over the course of the pandemic, those especially who could not go to Japan or go to Hyper Japan, which was kind of actually my main thing. I went to Hyper Japan to go see groups and such. So not being able to do that, being able to just watch it in the comfort of my own home from my desk, even though like, yeah, I'm not there like physically, I'm still there in spirit and I can still cheer them on. And yeah, most of the time you do pay for the tickets for these. Some of them are free, some of them aren't, but it's still nice to know that you are giving them that little bit of support by paying for the live show. And you can also buy checky tickets usually from these live shows that they stream online, because Satanic Punish I know definitely do. They'll have checky tickets that you can buy on their official stores, and you can, and that's how they get all their money and everything and support from you as a fan. But there are plenty of ways to support groups, whether it's basically free, like, you know, through following on Twitter, watching music videos from their official channels, and or like other various methods if you can't buy things, because not everyone can. So yeah, there's just various ways, because I remember when I couldn't buy anything and I felt bad about it, but my way of support was, you know, through playing their music, sharing it with others, getting them known a little bit through others, and just doing what I could as a fan who couldn't buy anything.
That's a really good point. It doesn't have to cost money in order to support these groups, and you'll often see people sending messages to their favorite musicians and getting a really great reaction and just letting them know that they're popular outside of Japan. We've got some great responses from the chat as well. Just Panda as well says, take part in online live streams and checky sessions. Our friends at JPU Records here, they say buy CDs, probably buy CDs from JPU. Officially stream, drop comments in their videos. Absolutely drop the comments in the videos. The artists who perform live at Hyper Japan and who have been performing online at Hyper Japan love to read the comments, and so maybe your comment will be seen by the artists themselves and you'll make them very happy. Also, who's this? Crayon Chris Chan says, buy direct from their own shop and events. Go see them in Japan and buy stuff from their show.
Yes.
At some point, hopefully.
Buy merchandise. Buy merchandise.
Buy
yes.
merchandise.
Yes, if you can, yes. I mean, don't break your bank doing it, obviously.
True. That's
Just
true.
support as much as you can. You know, within your means, obviously. I mean, that's something I have to, because there's a lot of people who will be just like, oh, but I have to support them. It's like, but you need to also look after yourself at the end of the day. But it is nice to support these people because you want them to earn a living just as much as you want to earn a living. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that we can support them in this way, but definitely because there's a lot more younger fans now within the Japanese music fandom. There's so many more coming in who were a lot younger than like 16, 15-year-olds. There's some 12-year-olds who are coming into these fandoms, and this includes the K-pop fandom as well. And they won't have access to the money that, we adults have access to. So they can't necessarily buy, like, say, as much as like we could. So just letting them know that by just sharing things, official things, official links, official Spotify links, iTunes, etc., streaming stuff, that helps just as much as
it can be an expensive hobby having an interest in Japanese bands, especially if you're buying CDs directly from Japan. They're usually not particularly cheap, and also you have to kind of run the gauntlet of customs charges.
True.
It can be
Especially
quite
now.
expensive, but it's entirely random. I think that there was one time I bought one of Perfume's albums, and there was like a poster bundled with the CD. So the CD on its own would have been fine, but they sent in like this massive box with this poster. I ended up paying, I think, twice as much as I paid for the CD, simply because of the customs charge for the poster.
Yeah, I mean,
custom charges in the Netherlands are also horrible. Either you pay nothing or you pay a lot. And so my advice is never buy just a single CD because they are going to make you regret it. I had like the last CD that I bought from GPU with the new customs rules in the EU is the same thing. If you buy a single CD, they'll charge you practically double. So never buy just the one CD, just not worth it.
But I think, the other thing that's kind of changed in sort of recent years is, this is particularly for the UK, where we have the rise of the likes of JPU sort of records, and labels are based in the UK. It means that you can sort of buy them more domestically. So you don't really have to go to the trouble of buying these sort of things from Japan, which makes things a lot easier.
Yeah,
a lot cheaper.
The EU and UK releases from Orion, Setsuzoku Records, and places like Damnably and JPU. Definitely a good way to get around the customs issues.
Yeah, it's good that we are getting these more and more within the UK and the EU, and it does help a lot. I mean, I think UK customs has changed a little bit anyway, because I've noticed no more custom fees so far on all the things that I've bought recently, and I bought something which I don't know if I should feel ashamed saying this or not. I bought about £80 worth of stuff from one group specifically, because I bought t-shirts. But I'd been waiting.
By any chance?
Yes, Satanic Punish and Dear Devil. And you know me too well, Remco. But with those, I'd been waiting, I'd been saving for those. I'd been waiting to buy those. It had been a long time plan and everything. I wasn't just doing it willy-nilly just because, I want those. I'd been waiting and been patient to buy them. But it was a lot of money and I was expecting customs on top of it. But I didn't get customs, so I think the UK customs has slowly changed a little bit. But with JPU and Setsuzoku Records, when we did have the customs issue, it was nice that we had these places that we could go and buy stuff. I personally myself have not bought anything from those places. I do plan to eventually down the line, because Setsuzoku has an artist that I really support, who I really like. It's Mikure Mika. And I want her new CD because she's got such a good vibe, and and it's nice that I know that I can get it from them, and that I know it will be on my doorstep rather quickly, because Japan can take a while as well to send stuff over, and I get impatient. I'm an impatient person when I want my music.
Just to say, Mikuro Mika will be at a live stream, Hyper Japan, 21st of July. So any
I'm
Mikro
excited.
Mika fans, please join us here.
So that's next week then.
Mm.
Nice.
Exactly. So this is where we want to turn our expertise over to the viewers. So anybody who's watching along on YouTube or Twitch, please put any questions or any topics that you want to hear about in the chat here, and we will ask all of our panelists here for their expert opinions. We just have to wait for the stream to catch up with the live conversation. So while we do that, I will just do a quick ad for Hyper Japan. So if you are a Japanese music fan, and if you're not a Japanese music fan, why are you watching this? We've got loads of great shows with artists directly from Japan being broadcast right now on the Hyper Japan YouTube channel. So we've got some of the artists that we've mentioned already. We just had a great shows with Fakey and Miura Aim, which I'm afraid you did not get to in time. We've got an upcoming meet and greet session with the Visual K band Jiluka. We have lots of other great performances and artists, and lots of archive stuff as well. So please check out hyperjapan.co.uk/online for more information, and also check out our YouTube channel where you can see tons of live shows and interviews and all that kind of good stuff. Now let's have a look and see what people are asking about in the chat. Francisca, you have a big fan here whose heart has exploded.
That's so cute.
I can
I'm
understand.
not an idol at all, but okay. Hey.
You are our idol.
Yay! Yay!
There we go.
Ava.
So our friends at JPU Records ask, what's the best music video you've seen in 2021?
Oh, I should be able to answer it, but I already said before, it's quite overwhelming with how many videos I have seen. So I'm probably thinking of a video of last year, and we are already here half in the 2021. Let me think about it. Maybe I have an answer. I cannot promise it, but I will try my best.
I've got to go find one now. I mean, I've watched a few videos, not a lot, but quite a few. I mean, it's such a loaded question, that one, because I think all music videos have their merits, no matter how bad they may look. I really currently like Equal Love's music videos. They recently released Weekend Citron, I think it was, and it's a really bright, happy, fun summer PV. It's a lovely music video full of yellow and everything, and I really enjoyed that.
I have seen that.
Another one.
It was a nice one.
Yeah, it's really pretty and it's really refreshing to see. And I think because it is summer, I'm getting into that kind of like, I really want to see bright, happy, energetic videos. But I did really enjoy Starry Sky by Queen Bee or Zuvachi. They go by both names. I love that group. I love that song as well, though. Starry Sky is a wonderful song. But I really enjoyed the music video to that as well. So I'll go with Weekend Citron and Zuvachi's Starry Sky.
I think for me, again, it's a difficult one, and the ones that spring to mind at the moment is probably Femme, who never disappoint. That all their videos are always kind of very slick and always very interesting. So I think the weird video they did for Sugar Rush, which was the last kind of singles they did, which was weird because it was like a very dour sort of black and white kind of video. They had all these kind of dancers on these kind of I'm not quite sure they did it. It's like a kind of wheels sort of dancers going across the stage. But it was very kind of slick, very sort of stylish.
Remco, do you have a favorite video?
Yeah, it's not really a music video, it's more of a cover, but the Kurenai cover by Nemafaila, and the fact that they performed the entire song in English is just was brilliant. The other video that I would really like is also by Nemophila, which the cover from Halloween, I Want Out. On that song, I was really impressed by Mayu's vocals. They were just blew me away. They were so close to the original. I just did not see that one coming. That one really blew my mind.
We have
those two are my absolute favorites.
We have some favorite music videos coming in on the comments as well. Sakasama and the latest Dexcore single, Self Hatred, had a great music video too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I should refer you to my website for that, because every week I pick out 7 new music videos that I enjoy musically and visually. So I don't really have a favorite. I find it really difficult. Also, if you say what's your favorite musician, I cannot really answer, because I have a whole list of musicians that I like, and they are not all noise and loud. Some are really chill. So yeah, I have my weekly article series. Is called 7 New Music Videos You Need to Check Out, and I publish every Sunday. So that's a plug.
Yes, please, everybody go and have a look after the stream. When the stream is finished, you may have a look.
Yes.
Also, Bright Ears' latest music video gets a shout out.
Bloody right, yes.
Yes.
Bright Ear also exclusive Q&A coming to Hyper Japan Online very soon. We have a question here from Japan Jams. What song would you recommend to get somebody into Japanese music?
Not something noisy and chaotic, because then I will probably scare them away.
It is a very difficult question, because it depends on what the person likes musically anyway. If they're really, really into J-pop and they want something, not into pop music, and they want something that's upbeat and uplifting and sweet, I'd probably give them something like from Mae's early era, or AKB48, or something like hashtag Sukinanda from AKB48, or something like that. But if it was like they wanted something a bit heavier, I'd probably be just like, I'm gonna show you Satanic Punish, like Mazgo McPanic or something. Well, not Mazgo McPanic, probably Alpha Omega, because that's a really good song. But it does honestly depend on what kind of music they like, more than anything.
Remco, you would not be happy if somebody suggested AKB48 to you.
To be fair, I have a few of their songs on my playlist, so I wouldn't really mind.
Paul,
it's also if they like pop music. I mean, AKB48, especially old school AKB48, might be a bit too sweet for Western pop fans.
Yeah.
So I would go with it maybe more modern. Recommending a song is like really difficult to me. They first have to be willing to step over the language barrier.
True.
The problem is that back in the old days, I used to run a metal cafe with friends, and if the metal is loud enough, you practically don't hear what they sing about anyway. So it doesn't really matter whether they sing in English, Swedish, German, or any other European language. But if you were to switch to, let's say, something a little bit softer, but a language that is so vast from what most people tend to listen to, just like they sort of object to that. So they have to be willing to be into it, or at least to be open for it. So you have to find out like what genre they like, and I suppose like the majority of bands do have a few entry-level songs that you could recommend. Same is said for example for bands like Bandmate, Aldius, Nemophila. But it really depends on the person, so you need to know who the person is actually before you can say something about that.
Because not everyone's going to want to listen to AKB, Morning Musume, etc. They might want something with a lot more depth to it. Like, if that was the case, I'd give someone Ohara Sakurako, who is one of my favourite soloists. She is a very good soloist. I absolutely love her music. She's got a gorgeous voice. so she is a trained singer at the end of the day, and there's some people who will not want to go into like the kind of more orthodox or gimmick type groups. There will be people who you show them baby metal and they will snub it because it's baby metal, because they'll be just like, but that's a gimmick, I don't want a gimmick. So you need to kind of, yeah, it is difficult. Everyone is so different in what their interests are and what kind of music they do like. It's one that is difficult.
I must say, with a band that I really enjoy, Caligari, they are very experimental, and they like to tend in the sometimes very melodious sounds, and then very rock, very heavy, and crazy in one, and that is me. So that's what I enjoy, but I sometimes give some a song like, oh, you might enjoy this, and I wait for the answer, if the reaction, and sometimes they are like, yeah, that's nice, or no, that's not my thing, and then I can pick out another band, maybe the Novembers, maybe Lilies and Remains, maybe something else, and the most are rock bands, so then I go that way. Or I have experienced the visual K boom, so I have also seen quite some of those bands in Europe. Most of them are disbanded, but okay, then I feed them the music, and then I wait and see if they enjoy or not, because it's really difficult. Sometimes the bands are so experimental that one song is very poppy and the other song is very metal, and then you're like, what? So yeah, that's how I try to do it, and I try not to scare them away with too much noise, because I'm kind of different in that way. Like, I can enjoy it, but I think about the people around me. Like, maybe you will try something melodious or nice, poppy or rock or metal or.
I think because Japanese music is so broad, it covers so many sort of genres that you know, if you know what music the person's into, you can tailor your kind of suggestions accordingly. So, for instance, if they're into electronic music, you could suggest you know, the likes of Perfume, or if they're more inclined to like kind of Western pop, you could recommend Fakey. If they're into kind of rock acts, I mean, there's so many Japanese rock acts to choose from. You know, you got the likes of like Bratz is pretty good, Mutant Monster, who of course formed at Hyper Japan. So the great thing is you can kind of cherry pick groups to based on the genre.
So Japan Jams, who left that comment, do you have a J-pop song or a Japanese music? Piece of Japanese music that you always use to introduce people to Japanese music? Please put it in the comments. For me, I'm going to say Linda Linda by the Blue Hearts, because everybody loves that song. So for our final question, I'm just going to kind of combine a couple of questions that we've got in the chat. They asked us, do you feel that the community in the UK and Europe has become closer over the past year due to the pandemic, with more online streams, private Zoom parties? And also, Just Panda also says here, Japanese music fans are really great because they support other Japanese music fans regardless of style or taste or genre. It's a really great community and a great scene that opens up a world of music to a lot of people. So do you guys feel like the community's really come together online in the last year?
Yes, definitely.
What else can you do? You can't get to gigs, so you have to kind of rely on the online community. But I think it's also kind of worth mentioning that a lot of kind of Japanese music fans have that kind of community and that kind of passion regardless. And it's something I have to say that you don't necessarily get in Western music, where Western music can be a little bit sort of tribalized, where with Japanese sort of music, the fans are always kind of very supportive of new fans, because you have that sort of close, cohesive community. But you're right, I mean, certainly in the last kind of year, it's changed quite a lot, and for the better.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
I agree too.
Well, I mean, like last year, I started with private GME Zoom calls, and I've done, I think, 5 or 6 right now. And especially the first 4, I mean, we started at like 8 p.m. Local time for me, and we went on for like 5 or 6 hours, and we talked about music, we talked about like anything, and it is just general like cue banter, like waiting in line for the concert, and it's actually quite fun because with Japanese music, like waiting in line is part of the game. When I go to a concert for, let's say, Nightwish or any other local band, it's like you pop up an hour before the show, but with baby metal, Bandmate, or even like smaller bands like Briar, you often show up like hours before, and so that gives a sort of like specific connection. I mean, there is something there that just isn't available when you go to a concert from Western music, and that makes it like really unique, and it's really easy to draw that out to the online and just get together with each other on that one. And I've seen a few baby metal get together hangouts, and it's just it's been wonderful this past year. Honestly, people have done so much to help each other pull through all this. So definitely seen an increase in that. And to be honest, I hope it kind of stays.
I do think with the pandemic, for those who could not go to work, it allowed them to explore the music scene a lot more and to kind of really throw themselves into it a lot more and become more passionate about it and to talk with others about it. And for those who still had work and were coming home, it was a chance to be able to just chill out and relax and talk to people who shared this passion and to, you know, just have that escapism. Like escapism was such a big thing people needed last year, especially when we couldn't go to concerts and everything. So being able to just sit down and watch those music videos or live shows and talk to others about it online, whether it was through text, WhatsApp, Discord, or through Zoom calls, it really helped, and it did allow us to grow closer. I mean, I grew closer to a lot more people last year through the pandemic than I have before, and it was nice. And I mean, Beyond Senpai was created in the middle of that pandemic last year, and they were able to grow. We were able to grow from that and become what we are now, and you know, and create our own little community, just like JME grew even more as a community as well. And you know, just sharing these things with people and experiencing these things with people, even if we can't do it in person, we were able to do it through our screens, even though we were at home.
I think that is a beautiful place to bring the discussion today to an end. I'll just give everybody on the panel a chance to introduce their various media again. Paul, why don't you tell us where we can find out more about your interviews and articles?
Yeah, well, you can go to jpopgo.co.uk for all the reviews, interviews and features that we've got, and from there you can also find all their social media links too.
Great. Remco, how can people join your Discord group, and where can they find the Facebook group?
Well, the Facebook group is actually the easiest one. Just go to the search bar, enter the Japanese Music Experience, and all of our other social media will be linked in the top announcement. So always welcome to have new members. So hope to see some of you there.
Kelly, go ahead.
So you can find us at Beyond_Senpai on Twitter, and you can also find us on Facebook as Beyond Senpai, and come join the group. We're always welcoming new people. We just want loads of different people, like bringing their passion for the Japanese culture onto Facebook and on Twitter, and just sharing your experiences and everything. And also we have a website, www.beyondsenpai.com, where you can read reviews or articles, not just from us but from guests as well, people who want to, you know, share their experiences or share their passions as well in a written format.
And please tell us all about AVO.
How much time do you have? Well, Avio magazine, you can find it on avio-magazine.nl. It's in Dutch and in English, so you can click on the flags and then you find the language that you can read or want to read. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please subscribe because Avio magazine is celebrating its 18th anniversary. So I have a lot of videos coming up. There are some musicians who have congratulated Avio magazine. There's also much to read on the website. I have decided to make a TikTok and also on Discord. So join me, and spread Japanese music. Contact me if you have something that I have to write about or share or whatever. I'm always in for a talk. I'm also on Twitter @Serafine. So thank you for your time.
If everybody wants to put your links in the YouTube chat, then people will be able to get them directly. And while everybody is typing away furiously, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching from Hyper Japan, the UK's biggest celebration of Japanese culture. If this has whet your appetite and you want to know more about Japanese music, I will be asking everybody for YouTube links that I will put in the archive of this video. So when they mention the bands, you should be able to get a link to a music video or something. So please watch the video again and you'll get loads of great recommendations. Check out our YouTube channel for, I think we had about a dozen different shows over the last week, and we've got more to come. Check out tickets for meet and greets, and as ever, articles, interviews on our main website. Go to hyperjapan.co.uk/online for the Hyper Japan Online 2021 event. Thank you everybody for joining us today, and I wish everybody a very happy experience in the world of Japanese music. Thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.